Hey guys, Sarah Picaro here. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about complaining. If you've got a complainer in your life, I want you to go ahead and just picture and imagine that person who seems to constantly complain about everything, and then tune into and notice how you feel. More than likely, you feel drained, you feel exhausted. Even just thinking about that person, just picturing them, you can more than likely hear their voice. So, why do people complain so much? You would think that they get tired of hearing themselves complain, that they get tired of whining about everything. Well, complaining is a form of controlling. If you've ever been in a toxic, emotionally abusive relationship with a person who complains a lot, or even wondering, is this person a narcissist? All they do is complain. All they do is complain about me and complain about everything in the world and how bad it is and how wrong it is. And they don't seem to really do anything different about it other than just complain about it. So, complaining is a form of controlling. Complaining is a manipulation tactic. And you may wonder, what do you mean? So, let's dive into that. Let's talk more about it. So when people complain, and you probably are raising your hand and saying, yes, I'm guilty of this as well. I'm not the only one using words and phrases like it takes two to tango. I'm not innocent, but why people complain. And complaining is a form of controlling, it's a form of manipulation. And you may think, no, I'm not a controlling, manipulative person. That other person is. So before we go and point fingers at everyone else, it's important to take a look in the mirror and stop, evaluate ourselves and where we're at. So complaining is, in fact, a bonding mechanism. There was a psychologist in New York that said complaints can make us feel that we connect with someone because we have a mutual dissatisfaction about something. So think about that. When you share your complaints, when you express your complaints and someone agrees with you, you're bonded over that complaint. Another angle to take is when that person complains, what can they get you to do? When they're complaining, for example, about, let's say it's a wife complaining that she has to do everything, right? There's children, she's got to do everything, she's got to cook, she's got to clean, she's got to do the laundry, she works a full-time job, and she's complaining to the husband. Well, husband has plans to go golf, to go fish with his friends, to have a little getaway this weekend. And when the wife complains about all of the things that she has to do, what is being created with the complaint are feelings of guilt, feelings of shame, feelings of that husband not pulling his weight, not doing enough. So the wife gets to control the husband by implementing this feeling of guilt. So husband feels bad, feels guilty. She's valid in her complaints and her expression of them. He doesn't want it to lead to an argument because he's sick and tired of that. And every time there's a complaint, there's a feeling, an emotion involved. And that feeling and emotion, when evoked, can change the action. Maybe change it from one of leaving and going to do something for himself to making him feel bad, making him feel selfish, making him feel guilty, so that she can control the situation, so that she can get him to do something. So it's a way of avoiding responsibility or accountability, and a really unhealthy way of connecting and communicating. There are healthier ways to communicate other than just complaining. So you may be wondering, why does a person complain all the time? Or you've been in a toxic and emotionally unhealthy, unstable, unavailable relationship, a relationship with a narcissist, and you're wondering, why do they complain all the time? Well, think about it. When they complain, what changes within you? What feelings arise within you that, when presented, they can get you to do something else? And how does that let them off the hook? When you feel those feelings because you hear those complaints, then you give in. You say, fine, you just want it to be over with, right? And wanting something to be over with, instead of facing it, is a trauma response. Wanting something to be over with is a trauma response. I have another video about that. So if you're wondering, what does it mean when this person complains all the time? What's the root cause of complaining? What is it called when a person complains all the time? You can try and dive into the deep end of all of that and try and figure out why, or just realize the impact that it has on you. What feelings come up when you hear someone complain? Do you get really anxious? Do you get really nervous? Do you get really tense? Do you step in and try and fix the thing that they're complaining about? Do you feel like you jump when they say jump and you're like already jumping, already in the air? How high, right? What can I do to get you to stop complaining? And realize that is energetically, emotionally, and spiritually exhausting, because this person can simply throw words out there with the tone of complaint and get you to do something. Well, that's a form of manipulation. That's a form of control. They're able to manipulate and control your emotions, your feelings, and you get so uncomfortable with them yourself, you'll do anything to find comfort, to get that inner sense of peace. So that's what's really behind complaining. And if you think about it, it's a learned behavior. Complaining is a learned behavior. If you have children of your own, you know this. When they want something and they're not getting it, they have learned that all they have to do is whine and complain. And eventually, that person they're whining and complaining to will give in, will say, fine, just stop. Here you go. Here's what it is that you were complaining that you didn't have. And it's so funny because so many people say it's easier. I've heard parents say it's easier, right? I don't want to have to deal with it. I don't have the time to fight. But what's happening, and this happens with all young children, is they learn behaviors, they learn actions, they learn habits, they learn patterns of behavior, ways of being, and this becomes inner programming. So the inner programming gets installed that says if you complain about something, you can manipulate the situation. You can get what you want out of that situation from the person who's involved in the situation. So when the 2-year-old, there's a tantrum in the store because they're not getting candy, mom or dad said no, and they complain and they whine. And the next time they have to go to the store, they complain about going to the store because they didn't get what they wanted last time. And they're only going to go if they can get what they want. And that person gives in. That person, that little child, has integrated and installed in their programming, I complain, I get what I want. My desires are met. So that's what behind complaining. They learn that they can control, they learn that they can manipulate, right? And it's a normal, natural part of childhood, but it can become problematic in adulthood because it's still used the same way it was used when that child was younger, to control, to manipulate, to get what they want. So as an adult, if you're noticing this yourself, you complain a lot, it's draining. It calls in, brings in, and attracts negative energy. People don't like to be around other people who complain. And you may wonder, why is my life this way? Why does it feel so heavy? Look at the complaints. Look at the complaints that you express, that you share, the things that you feel. And it can feel good. You get that sense of relief. You feel, oh, I got this off my chest. I complained about it. And what you're doing is you're getting empathy, because sometimes when people listen to the complaints, you get empathy. You get the, oh my gosh, I totally understand. I know it's so hard. I feel you. So you get that bonding, you get that connection, but it's a very unfulfilling, unsatisfying, unhealthy way of bonding, of connecting, but it does serve its purpose. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it, right? There's a benefit to it. But if you're noticing yourself that you're tired of yourself, you're sick and tired of yourself, you feel that all you do is complain, it's a heavy, dense, negative energy, but it does bond. You get empathy, you get relief when you complain momentarily and temporarily. and then it comes back again. So it's this negative perpetual cycle that you can feel stuck in. And if you're truly, truly wanting to elevate and raise your life, your experiences, the complaints have got to be cut out of that equation. Of course, it's natural to complain about things, but if you're not following them with a different type of action, you're not going to get anything different in your life. You're not going to get any different feelings. You're not going to get any different satisfaction from relationships, because relationships built on complaint are relationships built on control and manipulation. So if you're finding yourself stuck in that cycle, the negative thoughts, the negative loops, the negative patterns that revolve around complaining, and you're evaluating your life and realizing, wow, there's a lot of complaint. I'm not the one that complains, but maybe I'm the one that steps in and tries to fix everything for the person who complains, right? That's the people pleaser, the fixer, the codependent, the empath, generally the one that feels bad. So the complainer, the controller, the manipulator uses that. So depending on where you are in that dynamic is an evaluation of where you want to be, and then the disconnect and the commonalities and threads, you more than likely find there's a lot of complaints. So that is the backstory behind complaining. I want to know in the comments how you relate to that. And if you've been in a series or number of relationships that have been bonded over complaints, right? If you've been in emotionally unavailable, emotionally unhealthy, emotionally immature relationships where there's a lot of complaining and you're wanting to truly break out of that cycle, you can't stop someone else from complaining. You can only fix and change yourself, reprogram, rewire your inner programming so that it's not stuck in that loop and in that cycle anymore. And doing that for yourself, you're always teaching others how to treat you. So when you begin to respect yourself enough to actually do something different, not complain about it, not complain about all the negativity and all the heaviness and the woe is me and the this is that, then and only then will your life be different. So if you're unsatisfied, unhappy, not content with where you're at in life, with the relationships that you have in life, it's the change has to begin with you. And the change begins within. The change begins with upgrading, reprogramming, rewiring that program that was installed when you were a child that's now continuing to play out in every area of your life and in all of the relationships you have in your life. So if that's where you are and that's where you know and desire that change, but you don't know what to do to get it and you don't know how to get there, that's okay. Know that you're not stuck forever, and know that it doesn't take years and years and years of medications and worksheets and workbooks and programs. It just takes a simple upgrading, reprogramming, rewiring, reshifting of the unconscious programming that was installed when you were a child. When you learn to do that, when you learn that complaining, manipulation is this tool, it's a tool to control. But if you realize that you're not happy with your life, you've got to upgrade the tools. So in the Transforming Past Pain to Present Power program, the first part is called Upgrading Your Toolbox, because we do just that. You go on this powerful journey to upgrade your toolbox so that you're no longer using old, outdated tools that are broken, then don't get you what you want, or allow you to get what you want in a much more powerful, positive, beneficial way, in a way that serves you in a healthy way and benefits others in your life. So there's that. There's also one-to-one work together. If we're a good fit to do so, you can always use that same link, the description below this video, to find out more and to connect. And until then, I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.